Hey y'all, this is Scott Bass with Paddle of Florida Keys. I'm here at Old Settlers Park and Tavernier today to do a little knife review. All the knives I'm going to show you today are made by the company Spyderco, and they all have the H1 steel. I don't know if you've ever heard me talk about H1 steel before, but basically it's the only steel that's truly stainless. I've had one knife in particular that I've been using daily for the last 7 or 8 years, and you'll see that there's very little staining or any discoloration at all on even the pins. So I'm going to put a link in the comments to a Blade HQ YouTube video where they actually did experiments on how stainless steel, different stainless steels behave when exposed to salt water. So the H1 is really the only steel that passed with flying colors. Everything else eventually took on some kind of a rust or corrosion. So I'm going to be just showing you H1 steel knives by Spyderco. I have quite a collection of them because I'm a gear junkie. All these knives I paid for out of my own pocket. Nobody ever gives me any gear for reviews. If they do, I'd let you know. And I highly recommend buying your Spyderco knives from Blade HQ. They have better prices than Spyderco themselves. And remember, never buy from Amazon. Okay, these guys are crooks. They got it easy, but you won't get the best price. Plus, you're supporting a huge business instead of a small business like Blade HQ. So any knife that I buy from Blade HQ just because they do the research, they put in the time, and they have some awesome videos and great guys. So, okay, the first knife we're going to talk about is the Spyderco H1 Jumpmaster 2. This is a fixed blade knife. It's got a 4.5 inch blade. It's 9 1/3 inches overall, and it weighs 8 ounces. It's got a hollow grind. All the knives we have a hollow grind, which means it's got a kind of a concave surface there, so it's easier to resharpen. All of my Spyderco knives have a serrated blade, and then this is a drop point. It's got the sharp point on the end. So I like this knife because it's a big fixed knife. It's nice for camping, but when I'm doing my racing and stuff, it's a little bit more than I want to bring along. So I'm always looking for a little bit lighter weight solution for when I'm racing. I'll show you what I'm using here in a little bit for my current racing knife, and it is just a little bit on the big side. That said, it is a beautiful knife, and really recommend anything with this H1 steel. The next knife we're going to talk about is the Enough. This is also H1 steel by Spyderco with the plastic handles, and they really have a really nice scale texture there that really gives a good firm grip. It's got a nice little choil here so your fingers don't slip off the front, and this has got the sheep foot blade, so it's got the curved tip, so theoretically if you drop this, it's not going to go all the way through your foot as easy. So I kind of like that. It's got the serrated blade, and of course it comes with the sheath as well. The clip on the sheath, just like on the Jumpmaster, is an omnidirectional clip, so you can clip this so you can hang it vertical, sideways, upside down, any direction you want. You just unscrew those, unscrew the clip and then re-screw it in the orientation that you prefer. Also, just like the Jumpmaster and all the other Spyderco knives, there's a lanyard hole as well, so that's really nice little touch there. I've used this on several Everglades challenges. This is about the perfect knife right here. It's fixed blade, so you don't have to deploy it when you need it, and I can just put it right on my life jacket, so it's like right at my shoulder, and I can just yank down on it and instantly deploy it. So I like that knife a lot. That's got a it's got a 2 3/4 blade, and it's 6 3/4 long overall, 5 3/4 ounces, and it retails for $129.50. The next knife we're going to talk about is the Pacific Salt. This is a Pacific Salt 2 actually. Same plastic handle, a little bit different texture on it than the Enough. But it's got like a little square detents in it. It's got the lanyard hole. It's got a deep pocket clip, not totally deep, but it's got a nice pocket clip that's reversible, so you can have it on either side. If you're left-handed or right-handed, it's nice to be able to have the clip oriented the way you want it. H1 steel. It's got that trademark Spyderco big hole for easy opening with your thumb. It's got a locking back mechanism, so it's a back lock. It's got the serrated blade, drop point, and on Blade HQ right now it's going for 101.50. The blade length is 3 3/4 inches. Overall length is 8 3/4 inches, and it's 2 7/8 ounces, so just a little under 3 ounces. So that's like almost a third of the weight of the Jumpmaster 2. A nice lightweight knife. I don't carry this one as much because of that drop point. I'd rather have something with a sheet point. This one I keep in my everyday carry bag. It's just a great knife to have around. That serrated edge will just cut through rope like it was just butter. So I like that a lot. We do a lot of cutting of line and stuff. I don't use it for opening packages much. I have a different knife that I like to use that for. But next we have the Atlantic Salt. And this is my favorite knife that I use on my life jacket every day when I paddle. I've been using this knife now for, I don't know, 6-7 years every day. You can see there's a little bit of discoloration around the front rivet there, but it doesn't hang up or anything. Really just a smooth operating knife. It's got the drop point that I like, the sheep foot point. And then it's got the serrated blade, the big hole for your thumb. The lanyard hole. It's even got a wrench for if you're a sailor. It's got a wrench for opening shackles. It's also a back locking blade, so it locks in the back. I don't want to drop it on my finger. One thing you'll know about these Spyderco knives is they are razor sharp, and you will cut yourself once a year with one. And when you cut yourself, it's going to be deep and it's going to hurt. So be careful, especially when you're out there. Be very careful anytime you take your knife out, that you know what you're going to do with it, and you take it out, you do what you want to do, and you put it away. The Atlantic Salt is 3 2/3 inch blade, 8 1/4 overall, with a 2 2/3 ounce weight. That's on sale at Blade HQ right now for $99.40. That's the lightest blade in the bunch that I've got out here today. The last knife I'm going to show you is my newest acquisition. I just used this on the Boundary Waters. It's got a wire clip that's reversible, so you can have it on either side. This is an automatic knife. Some people call these switchblades, but it's an automatic knife, which means by pushing a button it deploys. It also has a locking mechanism, so you can either lock it open, and even if it's not locked, you still have to press the button to close it because it is locked like that, so it's like a double lock. Also, that locking button will keep it from deploying in your pocket, so if you have that button pressed, then you can't open it accidentally in your pocket. So this knife here is called the Autonomy. It was originally designed for the Coast Guard to use, so some of their swimmers use it because it's got that big button. You can operate it with gloves on. Even when it's cold, you'll be able to operate that knife. It's got G10 scales, which means it's a kind of plastic, fiberglass kind of stuff that's pretty cool material. The only kickback I have on this is that it's orange, and so the dirt just shows. It looks filthy, and I even wiped it off a little bit to try to clean it up for the shot, but that's not really a big deal killer for me. But I am very partial to orange, so I got this for my trip to the Boundary Waters, and I love that knife. I used it a bunch of times while I was up there. It does have a little short section of straight blade as well as the serrations, and then it's got the sheep foot, the drop dead in there, so theoretically if you drop it, it's not going to go through your foot. This one is the blade length is 3 3/4, which makes it the same as the Pacific Salt 2. The overall length is 8 5/8, which is a little shorter than the Pacific Salt 2. The weight goes a little higher at 5 3/8. Just a little bit thicker knife. Automatic knives tend to be a little thicker. And it's for sale on Blade HQ. They're out of stock right now. The orange ones anyway, but it goes for $203. So for a really nice automatic knife, 200 bucks is not too bad. This is a knife that you'll have for the rest of your life. And so if you divide it out over that, it's really not that expensive of a knife to own. So I really like it because it deploys, plus it packs up nice and tight. And I carried that right in my life jacket, right at my chest, so I could just grab it and go. As you can see, I have a lanyard attached to it. Anytime I go on the water with a knife, it's tied off to something because I'm not going to drop one of my nice knives in the water. So there you got all the knives together, and they're from shortest to longest. So you got the Enough, the Atlantic Salt, the Autonomy, the Pacific Salt, and then the Jumpmaster 2. All of them H1 steels, all of them great knives. All of them have a pretty defined purpose. Like I said, I prefer the sheep foot knives, these bottom ones here, because of the dropped off, because of the snubbed off nose, so that seems like it might be a little bit safer. Of all these knives, again, my favorite one is still going to be the Atlantic Salt, although I just did start carrying the Autonomy, so I'm not sure. I may end up making that my favorite, but for now, the Atlantic Salt is the one that I take on my adventures every day. It's there on my life jacket waiting for me every morning, and every once in a while I give it a little bit of a freshwater rinse, but not very. Not as often as I should, and it just holds up year after year after year. So I do highly recommend the Spyderco knives with the H1 steel, and like I said, go to Blade HQ. They're gonna have your best deal for the money, and they're knife people, so they know their knives. You can learn a lot from their website. They sell some pretty cool other gadgets as well, but really the knife thing is kind of their expertise. So bladehq.com, and check out their saltwater survival video, because that is pretty gnarly what they did to those knives, and it'll amaze you how good these Spyderco knives held up compared to every other knife that they tried it against. And they had some really promising ones, dive knives and stuff like that, but it pays to get good gear. So I just want to say thanks for watching my video, and remember to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell button if you want to be reminded of other reviews that I'm going to be coming out with. My next couple of reviews coming up are going to be on dry bags and on lighting systems, some of the stuff I use at night to find campsites when it's totally dark out, and navigate my way through the Everglades when there's a new moon, that kind of thing. So be sure and hit that subscribe and hit that bell button, and a like or two would be good too. Thanks for your time, and remember to paddle yourself to a better place today.